Good morning. Today is Wednesday, May 15th, 2024. We continue our lessons on Tanya. We are now lesson chapter 50, actually 49, going to 50, and it's our lesson 80, I believe. In order to understand continuity of what we've been talking about, you can just click and review previous lessons. This is lesson number 80. Today we continue the concept of the soul connection and the purpose of the person. What's your purpose in the world? Just to eat? And what's his joke? Who is a happy man? Who is a happy person? The person who dies with the biggest number of toys. Well, Tanya takes a position, which is Torah position, that we live with a purpose, and the purpose is to be able to help to others. So Tanya talked about several ways connected to elevate ourselves, to elevate our body, to elevate our soul in unity with God, and and there was a purpose of that. Not just Tanya says that Judaism requires worship through actions in this world, not the escape from that. Judaism is not sitting in a monastery away or in the woods because we're tired and sick of society, and society is fallen, society is negative, so we want to have nothing to do with that. That's not Judaism position. Judaism position to be in this world, but elevate it and bring the divine light to it. Well, in order to bring the light, you have to elevate the soul. In other words, we have to sort of come up to the tower of the divine elevation, come from this world of Asiya to the higher world. And that world is, let's say, open more. It's more open for the divine light to come to us. And we talked about it, that's done through several methods. We pray, we study Torah. That too elevates our soul. But the purpose ultimately, that's not the ultimate purpose. That's a mechanism in order for us to get up there. But we have to bring the rest of the humanity, the rest of the Jewish people and the entire humanity also to the higher levels. So we start thinking about living our lives productively for the society, and that's Hashem's plan. So once you're on that level, then it's easier to pull the divine light, and the pulling is done through mitzvot. So in other words, it's a combination. What do I do for myself, for my soul, to make it more pure, more elevated? But if you only get to the situation, you suspended yourself in the upper realms of the holiness, and the society doesn't benefit for that. It's all about you. So now your animal soul begins to work. Your actions, your mitzvot, your good deeds begin to bring the life down. And that's a unity of personal efforts, pulling entire Jewish community with you and the rest of the world with you. That is what we talked yesterday about, the two verses of Shema, that there is differences in minhagim, in customs between Sephardic community and Ashkenazi community. The higher light and the lower light. The lower light is for pragmatic connection, and the higher light is the gift that they're given to you once you get yourself up to that level. Tanya Set, the third verse, it's the third verse of the Shema, that's after the Shema, teaches us that the devotional attachment to God, merging the spirit with the spirit, is achieved, practically speaking, through the Torah study. Now you ask the question, how can a Torah study help people? Okay, you study Torah, you know these laws. This chicken is kosher, not kosher. Can you eat this? Can you not eat that? Legal laws. It's all legal laws, essentially. How can it spiritual? What's connection with spiritual? Isn't it like backwards logically? Spiritual connection when you're just sitting in a woods or at the beach by yourself and just contemplate the God. Yes, those are good techniques to elevate yourself. But if you stop there, you lose it. But when you study Torah, the way that Hashem, God did, He implanted in the Torah His very self. So in other words, it's a secondary effect of the Torah study. Even though you might be studying a dry subject, a particular subject in a particular Masechta, in a particular Talmud book, but that dry study, and you're sitting and you're looking, people sitting in yeshiva and argue with each other, no, it's to the right, no, it's to the left. They're not arguing, hating each other. They're arguing to complement, to find the truth. And in this process, divine spark gets ignited. It becomes the fire, love of God. That's the reason. Etz Chaim, Tanya talks, Rabbi Miller in Tanya mentioned that Etz Chaim defines hugging of God and kissing of God. We talk about hug and a kiss. Then hugging is an emotional connection, and kissing of God is a mental one. You think it's like logically backwards. You usually think when you hug somebody, it's a very physical connection, and when you kiss, is emotional connection. Well, actually, it's opposite. It's the hugging of God, which is studying Torah and praying, and that gets your elevation of your soul. And then kissing of God, mental, is the here it is. Tanya said there is ample proof for the Tanya assertion here that in-depth Torah study with the mind is an intimate experience of kissing God. So kissing is a Torah study, and hugging is essentially physicality, physical movement of your mitzvahs and actions. So those two things, elevation and transcendence, the fear of God or the awe of God or respect of God. The English words cannot can't explain properly that feeling. It's not fear, it's not you're afraid. It's a respect to your father. Not that you're afraid of your father, he's going to hit you, but this is my dad. He knows a lot. He takes care of me. And I look to him with a combination of love, of devotion, and following his instructions. So elevation and transcendence. The question is, Tanya now presents, do you want to just elevate yourself to God? Or do you want to elevate the world with you? You know, oftentimes we have like these days, protesters going around, and they want to make the better world. They want the free medical care, free education, free housing, free cars, free everything. It's utopian, communistic ideas. In theory, it sounds very humane, very good. But usually in practice, when you look at the people many times, they want you, somebody else, to do that themselves. If you ask somebody, okay, you're demonstrating for being, for better world, what did you do? Did you contribute $20 for soup kitchen? Did you actually participate in the soup kitchen project? And no, people... It's easy to sit in university loans and demonstrate, and it's not that easy just to actually go ahead and help somebody. Not to be political about it, but like support of Gaza. It's wonderful to try to express support to anybody, but why not? Okay, donate the money and go ahead and build in Gaza schools and mosques and playgrounds and parks, not the tunnels. What did you do personally contribute to that? Well, when you ask people like that many times, they don't know. I don't want to make it political. This has nothing to do with politics. People express themselves the best way they know how, but it's an action not to stand and shout and tell somebody how wrong he is, but don't point the finger at somebody else and look at the mirror and say, what did you do specifically to help? Did you write a check for $100, for $20, for $1? Did you participate in the soup kitchen? This is the main purpose and the goal of the worship, to pull the blessed infinite light down here. Kabbalah symbolically, actually, if you read the Zohar, Kabbalah symbolically an interesting analogy of the love with God as an intimacy of the husband and wife, groom and bride, as a song, King Solomon's Song of Songs compares Israel to the bride, and God is to the bridegroom. Wife to be and the husband, they're united. It talks about when you elevate yourself through a Torah studying, through the prayers. That's the the Tanya and the Zohar Kabbalah uses the terms elevate feminine waters. Well, it's an act of intimacy that the female's waters, so to speak, elevate. And then the husband, the man in the relationship responds to that. And then the ultimate climax of the union produces the unity. You then cannot tell who is who. The souls are essentially combined together. That physical concept in the world is a mirror reflection of the connection with the divine and the earthly. And that connection is supposed to be, again, we're repeating, not just this is God. Not that, okay, the wife is in the kitchen and I'm at work, and that's basically why we're married. No, that's true. You have to help each other. The girl becomes mother and she takes care of the kids. The father takes them to play basketball and baseball, and he's a breadwinner. A traditional Jewish family. Sometimes it's not traditional Jewish families, but basically this is what we do. But it's also times when husband and wife go to bed and they have intimate connection between themselves. Well, the Tanya here presents a situation that connection with God transcends even that limited connection between husband and wife when they become one soul. Intimate connection, the physical act of intimacy. Tanya says that situation, that feeling of unity exists, can be developed between you and God at all times, sometimes more intensely perhaps, sometimes less, but all the time. But actually, probably fair to say, in a good, healthy, happy marriage, that connection, that intimacy maintains between people, even when they're not physically engaged into the intimate act of making love, let's say. That happens even when they're cooking dinner together, when the husband is setting up the dishes and the wife is chopping the onions and preparing the salad, and kids are running around and chirping and smiling and playing, and becomes this idealistic situation when everybody contributes to some extent. That's also a feeling of intimacy. It's a little bit different intimacy, of course, than when the husband and wife are alone at night. But it is also part of the expression, multiplicity of expressions, ultimately to bring that divine light down to this world. So again, you have to catapult your soul up to make it easier, away from this world. Forget the world. Make the world as nothing. And that's what a prayer and Torah study. And when you elevate yourself, at that point, it kicks in, and God's light comes down here, and your physical actions, you just did a soup kitchen, you just put tefillin, you put the talis, you went to the synagogue, you actually did the walking, not just sitting there. That brings the light down, and now it's merged together. That's a Kabbalistic concept that is expressed in the plan, in the divine plan that God has to us. I hope you find it's not just interesting, but useful, because we trying to expand beyond immediate Tanya's topic, how to connect yourself with God, but ultimately that does bring the idealistic situation on earth, on this world. The light is brought down before we depart to the better world, before we even go to the Gan Eden. The paradise. And when that happens, then God smiles, and God is happy, and you're happy. And the physical things kick in. The diseases go away. The poverty disappears. The peace comes on earth. The envy goes away. People help each other. That's a Torah world. It is possible. It's not just a dream world of ideally, of the utopia. That world is meant to be. And we are coming to that situation. And every one of us, by our prayers, by our Torah studies, by helping each other, by involving in soup kitchens, contribute. What we're saying right now in Israel might be affecting people Jews in America. What we're saying something in Sweden affects people in Australia. So sometimes you have this feeling, well, I don't know, today I had some feeling that some uplift of the energies. Maybe because somebody else in New Zealand was sitting in a synagogue, in a study hall after the prayers, and did 15 minutes of a Talmud study. And that, in New Zealand, affected the Jewish community in Norway. That is how we're all connecting. That's the purpose of God's plan and your mission. Have a great day. Tomorrow we'll continue with chapter 50. It will be, I guess, lesson 81. I think we're now on 81. And if you rewind the tape earlier, each lesson is about 10, 12, 15 minutes perhaps. And you'll find continuity of this. I try to make every discussion kind of somewhat independent, but there's a connection between previous lessons. And if you go from the beginning up, perhaps you'll help you further help yourself, and most importantly, help others. Help the whole Jewish community, the whole Jewish soul, which are one soul. And through that, to help the rest of humanity as well. That's a practical way to help people. It's a lot better than walking with the signs that you hate something, instead of, and using the words, I hate, I want to destroy. That hateful speech is entire opposite. That's a darkness that the light that we're trying to present is working to dispel. Have a great day. Have a great day. Today is Wednesday, and we'll talk tomorrow. We'll start chapter 50, Love from the Left Side, which is, we talk about heart, has a right chamber, left chamber, a mind, and a connection between them. And each of these chambers have a certain function to do. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Have a great day.